Okay, so let's look at how to log into your WordPress dashboard. So if you open up your browser and type your domain name in, so in this case we're going to use PODTech. And here's what your WordPress website will look like before you make any changes to it. This is the default setting. So to log into the admin panel, you just type in the slug, which is /wp-admin, hit enter. And then here you'll be able to log into your dashboard. So you type in your username or your email that is associated with it. So in this case, my username is demo, and then my password. And let's do remember me to save time later. And then it will come straight through to your dashboard like this. So that's how you log in. And if at any point you need to access the back end of your WordPress website, that's how you do it. So first we're going to look at installing our theme. So the theme gives the website its appearance, and what we want is a theme that is very simple and minimal, so that it uses the least amount of memory space and can be loaded quickest. There's lots of themes out there, people like Astra or Hello. My personal favorite is Ocean WP, and a lot of these tutorials will all be with Ocean WP as our theme. So you just type Ocean WP into the search bar at the top and come over to it here and click install. So this will take a couple of minutes to install. Once it's installed, click activate. And now Ocean WP is loaded onto our website. So if we visit the front end of our website again, we can see it looks slightly different to the original one. A lot less information and a lot more streamlined, which will really help us with our page speed as we come to build it. So we have all these other themes here that are kind of, fresh out of the box WordPress ones. I do recommend just keeping one default theme just in case. In case this one fails, there's like a default theme for it to fall back to. It doesn't really matter which one, so just delete some of the other ones. There we go. So nice and clean, ready to go. The next thing we want to do is add the plugins. So plugins will improve the functionality of the website. There's lots of different types of plugins, and as you can see, there's already 2 installed here. We don't need the WordPress starter because we're going to do it all manually because we can configure it better. So let's delete that. If you're on a pod hosting plan, it will come with this free SG optimizer, which will help speed up your website considerably and improve load time, but we'll look at that later on in the tutorial. So next, head over to add new plugin. And first we're going to install what's probably the most common page builder, and that's called Elementor. So if we type it in like that, we'll notice this changes automatically. So this is the program that we're going to be using, Elementor Website Builder. So we want to click install. So just let that install, and they all become inactive, and you have to turn them on to install them. So we can click activate, and that will take us back to the setup thing. So we'll set all this up later. What we want to do is add all our plugins at once. So as you can see here, we've got Elementor installed there. So to save yourself time, instead of adding and then installing, what you can do is you can add lots of different ones and then install them all at the same time, and that'll save you much more time going back and forth. So let's add another one. It's this one here, Essential Add-ons for Elementor with this logo. Install that. Next we want to search for Ocean extra. Now this will help us improve our website's page theme, which is Ocean, what we're using. It just adds a bit of code to help you add extra features like remove this grey banner and easily get rid of these sidebars. So let's install that. So they're all installing in the background. Next we want WooCommerce. So WooCommerce is a payment platform that allows you to connect payment gateways such as PayPal to your website and take payments and sell products. Again, WooCommerce is free. Next we need WordFence. WordFence is a security system that helps give you a basic level of firewalls and stops your website from brute force attacks where people try and guess your passwords. It doesn't provide you a massive amount of security, but it is always worth installing one. If you think you need something more substantial, we would always recommend Securi. They're a very good website security team that can help you secure your website with their firewalls. Next, we want Yoast SEO. Now, Yoast SEO will mount to every page, every product, every post that you do, and it will help you optimize that page for your SEO score. It's a great free plugin that will help you improve your Google rankings, that kind of thing. Next, we want Google Sitekit. This combines Google Analytics, Google Search Console, AdSense, and also page speed all in one place. It's a very good plugin to have kind of everything in one area. So I'd always recommend downloading those plugins as a minimum. And what you've done is you've given your site the ability to build pages. You've increased your theme's functionality. You've added an area where you can now start selling products. You've also given your website a basic level of security, and you've installed 2 plugins that can help you with your SEO score. Now, I also like to add another plugin called Forminator, and it's a free plugin that can help you build forms on your website, and you can connect that to your database such as MailChimp, those kind of database mail shots, and help you build up your customer base. So you type in Forminator, and that's this one here. There's lots of extra added features with Forminator, like you can create quizzes and that kind of thing. There we go. So let's have a look at our plugins now. So as you can see here, we've got the SG Optimizer and Elementor. We've also got all these other plugins that we've just added. So the easiest way to activate them is to bulk select and activate and apply. And this will just take a little bit of time, and it will start activating all of these plugins. There we go. It's as easy as that. So it's asking us to do some setups here, but I think first we need to set up our theme, which is Ocean WP. For some reason it's slightly aligned incorrectly this side, so we click Setup Wizard, and that'll take you to this page here. Now you can skip this, but I'd recommend following through the steps because it just adds a few good features and helps kind of sort your website out. So get started. We don't want a template, so we're going to skip that. I don't know why the images are broken. So we're going to get our logo. So what I've done is I've created a folder with a fake site, and just created a fake logo from a company. So this is the logo. I'm not going to win any awards with it. So let's export this logo. Okay, so here's our logo here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to upload a product to the website. Upload a picture to the website. Now, as it stands, because the image is quite small, it is only 37 kilobytes, which is pretty good. But I want to show you a free tool that can help you take your images a little bit smaller. And what that'll do is it'll give you more space on your server, so you're not having to upgrade, but also it'll make your website load faster, and faster loading websites will keep your customers interested and also improve your Google search score. So you go to tinypng.com, just drag and drop the folder in, and there we go. You can see it saved us nearly half the amount of memory. So we click download. And let's just save it to our desktop. So as you can see, we haven't lost any image quality. Close these windows. So let's drag and drop our first image. And what this does is it saves your image to your media library. So we want to add our company name in here, which is CBD Pod. Put that in there. Now, alt text is basically what your website tells Google the image is about. So if we set our website's name to CBD Pod as the business name, and Google also sees that this image is titled the same as the business name, it will associate the two. So you add your logo here. Retina logos are for larger screens, such as your computer, laptop, that kind of thing. This image is quite small in size but very detailed, so we can upload it to both. That's the advantage of using that tiny PNG website. So our site title, we want to put that as our company name, which is CBD Pod, and our tagline is going to be CBD Store, or maybe CBD e-store. So the site icon here is our favicon, and that's what appears at the top here. As you can see, it's a W and a W there. So it does have to be square. So let's find our logo favicon. So this one here is the one I created, and hopefully it's nice and square. So let's upload it. Yep, fits perfectly. So we choose image, and that's loaded it there. Now our primary colors, I've already created a fake website layout, so let's have a look at our site's primary colors. So here's the layout that we're going to create. So we've got the menu at the top with our logo, a nice banner here with some shop buttons, another kind of banner, our products, bit of information about the brand, some discounts and offers for sign-ups, contact form, and then a footer. So I think this color here is going to be our primary color. So let's find out what color it is. It's always worth doing a quick mock-up in either Photoshop or even just kind of scribbling something down on a piece of paper just to give you a feel for what the layout is going to be. We want to find out what the hex number is, because that's how the computer will determine what color it needs. So we've already got our hex color, which is this one here. If you don't have Photoshop and you want to find a way of playing around with your color themes and getting to know what kind of color scheme you want on your website, I'd really recommend coolers.co. It's a free website where you can have a little play around with some colors and kind of play around with your branding. And the best thing about it is that at the bottom here, it creates your hex codes. So you just copy this code and you can paste it straight into your WordPress website. So for example, if we take our code here and chuck it into this, it will give it here. So all we do is we lock it, then we hit spacebar, and it'll give us lots of different color combinations that suit that color scheme. So I think these two go quite nicely. So you click lock, and then you just keep going until you find something that kind of you feel fits. So say these three colors, you've got maybe this coral color as your text, you have this as your main color, and then maybe this color as your buttons. So our primary hover color, we've got our primary color, our primary hover color, we'll set as that. We don't need a border color. Links colors, I'm quite old school. I like the links colors to be in blue so that your customers know that that's a link. Links hover doesn't matter too much. Hit continue. Here it's going to get you to try and sign up, but you don't need to do anything. Just click view your website. And that's your theme already set up. So next, we want to just allocate some pages. So if we head over to Pink Orange Design's website, we can see here at the top we have a menu. So these menus are actually pages. So we've got home, branding, web design, PODTech, pricing, that kind of thing. So we want to create something similar for our website. So if we have a look at our pre-made page, the pages we're going to want are home, contact us, my account, and our store. So let's make the pages. Head to pages. As you can see, WooCommerce has already added a few pages for us here. So we've got things like cart, checkout, my account, privacy policy, sample page, and shop. We don't need sample page, so we can delete that. Now the shop page is very basic. Your products will appear here. Now the problem is with this is that if you wanted to edit this page directly, you would need to upgrade to Elementor Pro. However, I'll show you a quick kind of workaround later in the tutorial to build your own shop for free. So we'll just create the page for it now, and then we'll come back in later and add that. So let's start with our home page. So you click add new at the top. And this is what your page builder looks like. So we have our settings. We can now optimize it for SEO, which is great down here. And we can also give it a featured image. So say we wanted it to appear with our logo next to it on search engines. You just select your logo there. And as you can see on the search engines, it'll appear like that. So let's add in our page name, which is home. We want our content layout to be 100% full width. We want to remove our title. This banner here is your title, and you don't really need it, so we can remove that. And then this is our SEO section. We'll actually cover this section later because we can dive into it in a bit more detail. So for now, that's pretty good. Let's hit publish, publish again. And let's take a quick look at our home page. Brilliant. So this is what we want. We want something blank so that we can start building. The more kind of clutter you have as default, the slower your website will load. So this is great. So let's head back to our back office. And by doing that, you just click on the little link here, and that'll take you back to your dashboard. So let's add a couple more pages that we needed. Just get this up for reference. We need a contact us, my account, and a store. So let's repeat the process. contact us, 100% full width, remove the title, and we'll set a featured image later once we start building. Publish and publish, and then you just click the W to go back. So we have shop, which WooCommerce defaults puts all your products onto. It is worth keeping because it is a good fallback, but that's called shop, so we're going to call our shop store so that we don't have two pages with the same name. So we've got store, 100% full width, disable, and publish again. So that's all our pages set up. So as you can see so far, it's super easy, really quick and easy to use. Now what I've noticed is actually the Ocean WP setup hasn't worked properly, because here it should say our company name like we filled out, which isn't a problem because we're actually moving on to the settings and we can do all that in here. So we scroll down to settings and click that. Now this will give us our general settings, and as you can see we filled it out but for some reason it's disappeared. So we want to put in our site title again. So it was CBD pod and the tagline was e-store. So as you can see now it's changed our website name to CBD pod, which is what we wanted. Next we have our website URL and our WordPress site URL. Now, as you can see here, this has got HTTP. Now, we want all our websites to be secure, so we want an SSL certificate. Now, most good web hosts provide SSL as standard. With all of PodHost SSL's certificates are already pre-installed onto your website, and all you have to do is basically activate them on the WordPress dashboard itself. Now, sometimes this can be super quick and easy, and all it takes is just to put an S there and an S there. And let's scroll down and hit Save Changes. This will then log you out because it's changed the domain from HTTP to now HTTPS. And as you can see here, we have a padlock, which means that our site is now secure. What I always advise clients is to do this pretty much the first thing that you do when you build your website, because if you start adding images or anything else like that later, they might still remain on HTTP rather than converting over to HTTPS, and this can be a nightmare to change. So always put your change your website to HTTPS so that you can activate your SSL certificate. So let's log back in. I would always recommend opening your web browser in private mode as well, because that will show you an uncached version, just to double check that your site is secure, as you can see here, and it is got a SSL certification. So we don't want to save for this site. The rest to show you as a default when people register, what do they register as? So we want to change that to, we want them to be a customer because we've got WooCommerce. If you don't have WooCommerce and you don't want to take payments, subscriber is fine. And hit Save Changes. You can also change the date and the time, what time we're on now. So yeah, this is already set to my time here. Next, let's have a look at writing. So I don't think we really need to change too much here. Nope, everything is okay as standard. Let's have a look at reading. Okay, so here we want to set our home page. So because WordPress is a blog site as default, it will always put your latest post as default. But because we want to convert it to a website, we want a static page, which is our home page. So let's select static page and then find your home page from the drop down. The rest we can leave and hit Save Changes. see what's on discussion. So I always click these so that people can be logged in. I don't really like people commenting on parts of my website because also it encourages spam bots. So I always just deselect that to not allow it, and always select that they must be logged in. It's kind of like a double protection there. Let's have a look at the rest of them. And also comments must be manually approved, just in case they get past the system, and they're not posting dodgy links to weird websites. If they post that on your website, you may get blacklisted by Google. The rest is fine. You can change their default user image if you want, but we'll just stick to the usual one. Hit Save Changes. We don't need to do anything on media. Let's have a look at permalinks. So permalinks is the slug that comes after your domain name. So for example, if we look at branding, for example, the branding page, what you want for your SEO is to have pink orange designs / and then, as you can see, branding here. So this is the best way to lay out your structure of your website for SEO so that Google knows exactly what it's about. So in the same way, you want to ensure that you have your domain name and then your slug there. So this is the one we want, post name. The rest are fine, and then we're on our shop here. So we want / shop. We don't really want the category, so this one is fine. We want shop base. Save changes. And finally, our privacy policy. This will be allocated to the privacy policy page. So that's fine as it is. And that concludes setting up the settings section. If your SSL certificate doesn't work, there's a great plugin that you can use to fix that. So let's go to Add New, and I'll quickly show you now. And the plugin's called Simple SSL. You install it, and it will talk you through a quick step-by-step process, and it will scan your website to see what isn't being forced SSL, and explain to you the easiest way to change that. So if you are struggling, click there. Also have a look at our help articles, because we have quite a large database here on our website, pinkorangedesigns.co.uk, where you can kind of have a little search through things and pick up some tips. So if we search for SSL, we have an article here on what to do when SSL does not work. So this article just gives you a few screenshots of how to run that plugin that I explained, as well as a really good website called Why No Padlock that will help search your website to see how it's running. And that basically covers the back office setup. There are obviously quite a few other plugins that we need to optimize, but we'll come into those in a bit more detail as the sessions continue.